Greeting. Welcome back to the Morning Breadcast. I am Marcus, your host with Digging for End Time Truths, and we have been covering this week last day's lessons, and we've covered quite a few different things. We've covered the devices that you can be used against you. We're not ignorant of the devil's devices, right? The tools that you need, the weapons that you can use. Last time we covered the clothing that you need to wear, but I saved this one for last because I think it's probably the most important, and it's really who your adversary is, who you're really fighting against, right? So, listen, we can't take this part lightly, only because of this. We're talking about a spirit being. We're talking about one of the archangels, and he is very deceptive and very deceiving, and he is really good at deceiving people and spirit beings. In fact, you're talking about the spirit being that convinced 1/3 of the angels in heaven to rebel against the creator of the universe. So this is not a minor deal, right? He is your adversary, and he is the devil, or Satan, he's called, right? And he is just opposed to God. He wants to exalt himself. He wants to be God, wants to sit on God's throne. And he wants everyone to worship him, right? He is your adversary, the devil. And do not take this lightly. Here's the beautiful part about it. He can do nothing unless you allow him to. He can do nothing unless he deceives you into submitting your will to him. And that is where his power is, because he is a deceiver, right? So we're talking about the devil, and I want to start in 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, where Peter says this. He says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." He's looking for people to deceive, and he's got a whole host of demonic forces and demons that influence you, and he's got a plan. Listen, we're talking about a being here that is supernatural. He's been alive before you, your parents, your grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, your ancient great-great-great-great-great-parents. He's been here watching and observing humans and how to get into their psyche for many, many, many thousands of years. So don't think that you can outsmart this guy, right? Peter says this. He says, "Be sober and be vigilant." Because this adversary of yours, he's walking around trying to find a way in. Not just him, but all of his little minions are looking for ways in. And how do we show him how to get in? They're watching us. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you doing in your spare time? All these things that you do, he's watching. And there are ways in. There's sorcery. There's drugs, there's what you watch, there's pornography, there's all kinds of movies, there's all kinds of books that you read. He's looking for ways in, right? And Peter tells us to be sober and be vigilant, right? What does James say? Because you know that this devil's going to try something on you to get you to follow him, right? James chapter 1 verse 12 says this, "Blessed is the man who endures temptation. For when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him." In other words, endure the temptation. Don't go with it. Don't bite the bait, so to speak, right? James, just so you know, the book of James, we'll probably do a study on it later, but can't get into it right now. But James was the Lord's brother. He watched Jesus grow up. So James is the very practical epistle that you want to read, where you talk about how to do things. He's the one that says, count it all joy if you're going through this stuff, these temptations. He said, blessed is the man who endures these temptations. He'll be approved, right? James 4:7 says this, and I want to leave you with this. James chapter 4, verse 7 says this, "Therefore submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you." In other words, if you resist him, he's got to go. He may come back later and try something else, but he's got to go when you resist him. So I'm just going to leave you with that. Resist the devil, submit to God, and the devil will flee. And we'll see you again next time on the Morning Breadcast.